Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. The ending is everything. Plan all the way to it, taking into account all the possible consequences, obstacles, and twists of fortune that might reverse your hard work and give the glory to others. By planning to the end, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances and you will know when to stop. Gently guide fortune and help determine the future by thinking far ahead. As human beings, we count our future in hours, days and weeks, and we rarely account for longer periods of time. Even when we triumph over impulses, we relapse once and again and remain trapped forever, viewing the world through our mortal and temporary lenses. And thus we become victims of fortune. Unlike the gods of Mount Olympus, who have the power to foresee the future, we live as slaves to our desires, focused only on the moment, treasuring and lusting over the trivial leftovers. You, on the other hand, you must plan all the way to the end. Observance of the law. Lyndon Johnson was an ambitious young congressman who grew to become one of the most dominant US presidents of his time. In the beginning of his career, Lyndon understood that in order to reach the top, he must create momentum quickly. The younger I reach high positions, the more time I'll have to spread my name, build a solid reputation, and gain leverage over the Democratic Party. That were his thoughts. Despite becoming a congressman at 28 and seeming to be already set to achieve his goals, the reality he found was different. The House of Representatives seemed so big and complex and regarded the system of seniority to be one of its pillars. It would take at least 12 to 20 years for Lyndon to get into high committee position. This proved to be annoying for the new congressman, especially after his unfruitful meeting with Senator Tom Connelly of Texas, who confirmed his reality. Then and there, Lyndon decided that unlike before, he would learn to take a step back and conceal his aggressive and hasty nature. He would focus on his strength of charming individuals instead of aiming to please larger groups. Slowly and surely, he would gain power, build momentum and influence. So he had to create a solid plan that would help him get there. Step 1. Disconfirm his old reputation by appearing the paragon of politeness, humility and diligence. Lyndon visited other senators in their offices. He would wait for long periods of time, showing no annoyance if they are late. He would take extensive notes and make them feel superior to him. He would ask about their families and charm them with sumpter anecdotes and clever proverbs. He acted on their advice and repeat their words to others. During this time, he learned how the Senate worked perfectly. And since the high authorities were based on seniority, most members were insecure about their age, physical and mental prowess. The student role lowered their resistance and proved useful to him. Step 2. He would find a strong Democratic senator whose influence would subtly use to his advantage. The senator in this case was Johnson Russell of Georgia. Since Lyndon requested and received a seat in the Armed Services Committee, where Russell held its second highest position, they got to know each other. Soon after, Lyndon seemed to be everywhere, and then he started visiting Russell in his office, ask questions, be courteous, and call him by the name the Old Master. Since Russell was a bachelor even at an old age, Lyndon sensed his loneliness, and so he would spend more time with him, work late on their projects, invite him to his family house, go to baseball games and discuss Civil War for hours on end. Lyndon, of course, has done his research on the man. Russell started to enjoy the company of the young man and even referred to him as his discipline, a feat that has never been done before. As a result of this, once the Korean War broke out, Russell supported Lyndon in acquiring a position in the subcommittee responsible for investigating the military's preparedness for war. Suddenly, Lyndon gained a major exposure to the media and proved to be able to handle the press and create a sense of mystery. After his success, Russell even went to say that Lyndon would make a great president. Step 3. Lyndon had to find a way to get the Northern liberals on his side. Once again, he chose the perfect man for the job. Senator brother Humphrey, a charismatic young man whom, despite his great ambitions and brilliance, his career went nowhere due to his overt criticism of everyone in the Senate. LYNDON met him and complimented his brilliance and revealed to him that if they should play their cards right, they might succeed to unite the Senate together and pass the policies Humphrey is so passionate about. LYNDON used the same tactics. He mirrored Humphrey and revealed his great adoration of Franklin D. Roosevelt, something they both shared apparently. LYNDON helped Humphrey become more pragmatic and compromising, and the latter was grateful for that since he spent most of his time after work crying about his lost career. He even told Humphrey that he would make a great president. Of course, LYNDON didn't mean it, but we can't blame Humphrey for believing it. Together, they managed to achieve their aim, and the rest of the party who wanted to refuse LYNDON's comment knew that they would suffer alone. After accomplishing all this, the world has learned about LYNDON's skill, and it wasn't a longer period after until he became the president. Throughout years of slow and steady race, LYNDON proved himself a man who plans all the way to the end. In fact, he was the inspiration for everyone's favorite TV leader Frank Underwood from House of Cards. In order to plan all the way to the end, you must follow this guideline. Number 1. Don't set vague plans. In life, people think they have a good grasp of their destiny, claiming to be a decent strategist. The reality is different, however. Most of them are barely tacticians doing their best to salvage the immediate and constant needs of the battlefield. Understand the difference. Strategy is the art of seeing the big picture and comprehending the whole theater of operations. We live our lives dreaming of happy endings, blinded by every shiny object that comes, losing our head over a vague open-ended dream. While believing ourselves to be planning ahead and aware of the future, we succumb to our desires and imaginations of what we crave the world to be rather than what it actually is. Your task is to resist the temptation of desiring things to be different, to kill the urge to improvise with every crisis, to devise vague and spineless plans, to wishfully think that things will take care of themselves or someone will come to save you. Understand, a detailed plan and clear conclusion defy anxiety. With a clear plan and sense of mission, you will know when it serves you to fight and when to retreat. Number 2. Learn to foresee events. Have you ever wondered why the eye lies at the top of the pyramid, or why the most predatory flying creatures have the clearest of visions? There is a reason why one of the strongest Egyptian gods, Horus, is often portrayed with the head of a falcon. Vision is the gift of the gods, and clarity of vision is the highest of values. The more you see, the further ahead you can plan, and the more powerful you become. Instead of being locked down in the moment and always thinking emotionally, learn to elevate yourself above the battlefield, free from the fog created by emotions, anticipating your potential mistakes and circumstances, calculating every possible permutation, living by the motto "no day on alert," and crushing problems before they arise. Be like the god Janus, the double-faced Roman deity and guardian of all gates and doorways, who glances intensely with each head both to future and to the past. Through the constant act of visualizing events and conversations before they happen, you allow yourself to make adjustments and to produce solutions, and most importantly, to plan for the worst. What gave Napoleon an aura of divinity and the status of a superior general is his ability to absorb massive amounts of information about his target and with as few filters as possible. This gave him a superior grasp on reality, and the firmer your grasp on reality, the more capable you are of alerting it to your purposes. Number 3. Tolerate no deviation. To follow that way straight forward, to carry out the plan without being obliged to deviate from it 1,000 times by 1,000 varying influences, requires requires, beside great strength of character, great clearness and steadiness of mind. Due to unpredictable nature of life, both problems and opportunities arise. It's better to view the small problems that are haunting your plans with clarity and see if they have any real influence. If you choose to immediately address each and every trivial problem, you will often make matters worse. How many times did we lose sleep over something that ended up pretty and harmless? Oftentimes we feel that we might lose opportunities if we don't deviate. We follow our own emotions and we end up losing everything in the pursuit of what is usually a deceiving mirage of cunning distraction, and ultimately lose momentum or let even bigger opportunities slip from our sweaty and anxiously eager hands. Follow the advice that wise Greek Solon gave to his rich Lydian ruler Croesus, who supposed himself the happiest of men. Look to the end no matter what it is you are considering. Often enough, God gives a man a glimpse of happiness and then utterly ruins him. Number 4. Use patience as your crucial shield. Now, if clarity is your highest value, patience is your last defense. Often it takes long months and sometimes even years for things to happen for us or for our plans to come to fruition. We get tired and complacent. We blame fate or lose hope. Our enemies get the best of us and our friends abandon us. And so we lose our patience, making dumb financial decisions, vent our bitter personal opinions, and end up ruining our otherwise well-crafted plan. Remember, half of the game comes from what you do not do, what you do not allow yourself to get dragged into. Sometimes the best decision is to sit and simply wait, just like the gods who have nothing but time. Number 5. Conceal your plans. Another grave mistake that will ruin your crafty plan is to succumb to the TV show comic villain mentality of revealing one's plans, boasting of the brilliancy of our minds to dazzle and get a fleeting dose of validation. To plan secretly, move subtly, and thwart the enemy plans while pushing your own with minimum resistance is an art that is best mastered by the little fingers of the world. By concealing your plans, you'll be immune to the calculations of the wisest courtiers and to the prying of the craftiest spies. For more information on how to conceal your intentions, watch the video on Law 3. Number 6. Be aware of the vultures and hyenas. No one is ever safe from the lurking eyes of the vultures who haven't revealed themselves and the drooling fangs of the hyenas who are waiting for the perfect opportunity. You must not allow your enemies and rivals to ruin your plans or use them to create their own momentum. Be aware those who would like to share in the conquest and glory. Constantly ask yourself, what enemies will my plan make? What loopholes that will allow someone else to steal the fruits of my labor? It does not matter how great the dream is or delicious the fruit is if someone else will take the glory. For a better understanding of the tactics involved, make sure to watch the video on Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Number 7. Keep a little room for formlessness. While it's true that more wars have been lost from vagueness than over planning, it's important not to be rigid and understand that as a practical soldier. You should not pin your fate completely to abstract principles and plan with the tides of time, using the momentum of events instead of becoming a reactive slave or a rusty perfectionist. Never forget, the enemy of a good plan is the dream of a perfect plan. Once the plan is done and success or failure is the result, it is crucial not to allow oneself to relax and instead to work on tying up loose ends and reflecting on the fruits of the plan. Doing an audit of what worked, what didn't work, what was gained, lost, the resources spent, and so on. Ask yourself, was everything worth it? If your plan failed, make a vow to yourself to never make such mistake and to never allow yourself to stoop this low again. If success was your ally, stop and don't be greedy or make unnecessary and unplanned moves. Do not become arrogant and ruin everything you have accomplished. Don't allow yourself to reuse the same winning strategy so as not grow predictable and complacent. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I would like to invite you to check out this YouTube channel that takes a different approach to the 48 laws of power and other strategy.